feet. In its deepest parts, the Intracoastal is about 200 feet deep. It can be as shallow as 10 or 12 feet. Our cruise out here today, it's going to look a lot like you see it right here, about this wide and about this deep. We're in the average of 10 to 12 feet of water underneath the boat. Very, very shallow. A lot of the waterway is man-made. Much of it was developed during World War II. German submarines were patrolling our shoreline. They were taking a toll on the merchant shipping. So they tried to get as many merchant products up onto barges that could be pushed up and down the inland waterway so that they'd be safe from submarine attacks. And it's still up to the Army Corps of Engineers today to keep these canals dredged out to a depth where they are passable. The city of Delray Beach, we're cruising through here. It started out as a farming community back in the late 1800s. It was originally called Linton, named after William Linton, who was the postmaster up in Saginaw, Michigan, and he had it with the winters up north. So he talked some friends of his who were farmers into coming down here in search of a year-round growing season. They found the climate and the soil to their liking. They described this area upon getting here as tropically overgrown, almost jungle-like. Wasn't going to be easy work clearing the land. Certainly wasn't going to be cheap either. So they wound up striking a deal with Henry Flagler. He, of course, owned the East Coast Railway. And at the time, Henry's railroad was only going as far south as West Palm Beach. They told him they would help him clear the land to continue his railroad down to Miami, if he in turn would finance the purchase of the land for their farms, and that's exactly what they did. The 16 square miles that make up Delray Beach today were originally purchased for $1.25 an acre. As they set about clearing the land, they ran into all kinds of wildlife, as you can imagine. Alligators, snakes. What they complained about the most were the mosquitoes. Back then they said that they were almost 4 inches long. They used to actually put kerosene on their skin at night just to keep the mosquitoes away while they slept. They had a bad winter here back in the late 1800s. A hard freeze killed all their crops, and word started to get out up north that maybe this wasn't such a great place to make a go of it after all. So they decided then to change the name of the town to lose that reputation. That's when they named it Delray, after the city up in Michigan where most of those first settlers were from. They later added the word beach to further enhance the town's appeal. 1905, there were about 250 people that were living there, got up to 1,000 by 1910. But they knew even way back then if they were ever going to get the large numbers of people down here that they were trying to, they were going to have to spruce the place up a little bit. Who better to do that than a group of women that were already living here? So the Ladies Improvement Society was formed, a civic organization here in Delray. To their credit, those ladies didn't waste much time. They had a pathway clear right through the middle of town, went all the way down to the beach. They had businesses and homes popping up all over it. They got the first town hall built on it for $1,000 on a 75-cent piece of land. Today we call the pathway Atlantic Avenue. And the land over here to our right is called the island, or the barrier island. It sits between the Atlantic Ocean and the Intracoastal. A lot more expensive to live on the right side of the boat than it is on the left side. In fact, if you took the exact same size lot from the left here, put it over on the right side on the island, just increased your property value by almost $250,000. Now, when you cruise up and down the waterway in a boat, the boat you're on requires a drawbridge to lift up so that you can pass on through. In other words, you can't fit under the bridge. You're required to identify yourself to the bridge tender on the marine radio. You have to give them your boat name. This first bridge that we're approaching here is George Bush Boulevard. If you call it the George W. Bush Bridge, they won't answer you. This was named after Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st President of the United States. We'll get on through this bridge here. We'll go up through Southeast 15th Avenue, also known as Woolbright Avenue, and then lastly Ocean Ave, all the way up in Boynton Beach. Now the first two bridges are what are called on-request bridges. That means as soon as they can clear pedestrians and traffic, they will go up for you. But the last bridge, Ocean Ave, is like most of the bridges in Palm Beach County now. That is, they'll only go up a couple of times an hour. They go up an hour and a half hour, so we're eventually going to get up there for their 2:30 lift. We got a ways to go. There's a lot of speed zones. There are speed limits out here in the waterways. The sign over here to the right. The faster that a boat goes, the bigger the waves are coming off the back of it. That's called the wake. And you can do a lot of damage with it. So you'll see signs that will say slow speed or minimum wake zone. Also, we'll pass some fuel docks, as we're about to do over here on the left. Marinas, waterfront dining spots, those are all areas you have to take it slow as well. So we're going to change speeds here a lot. You might not even notice it, but if you do, that's all I'm up to.